Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Hayley Richardson, who is the Deputy CEO at Demelza. Hello, Hayley.
Hello, thank you for having me.
That's all right. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So, Demelza, they're a charity, and they deliver extraordinary care to extraordinary children facing serious or life-limited conditions, and they provide support for all the family from first diagnosis all the way through until you're always needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's start the interview off, Hayley, by you telling us your background and how you got to where you are and why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay, no problem. So I started off in the motor trade actually, years and years ago, in marketing, and I kind of worked locally at some of the garages, and had a real passion for doing things a little bit differently, trying things different and seeing how that kind of landed. And it took me naturally into the charity sector, because in my marketing experience I always tried to look at charities that we could partner with and maximise that opportunity from a PR perspective, bringing new people to the brands that I was working with. And then that kind of naturally led into wanting to work in the third sector and what that looked like for me. Demelza at the time were advertising for area fundraisers to be able to kind of help spread the word and bring people on board to support. So I went for the role, and that was 16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
seems like yesterday, probably.
It really does. It really, when I say how long ago it was, I stayed at Demelza for about 18 months, but I kind of wanted to really make sure I was exploring different charities, opening up the sector a little bit for me. I knew that I'd found the area that I wanted to work in. So I left Demelza after 18 months, kind of vowing that I was going to come back. It's a very special place, and I always knew that my career would take me back there one day. I went off, worked for some national charities, spent 6 years at Great Ormond Street Hospital Children's Charity, where I really learned how innovation became part of who I was as a fundraiser, and the things that then I brought my marketing experience and brought it all together. Had children, so I've got little twins, not so little now, they're 7, but that gave me an opportunity then to come back more locally, and Demelza was absolutely my first choice. So I've been back at Demelza for 6 years, had amazing opportunities to kind of progress and take promotions when available. So I find myself in this fortunate position today.
You're doing a great job, I'm sure. But that work at Great Ormond Street must have been a great experience to take you to what you're doing now with the Children's Hospice.
100%. I kind of worked on big campaigns, looking at sector campaigns, and it gave me a real understanding of how we need to push the boundaries within the third sector. I think for years it's kind of been thought as the third sector, and not in the commercial world as such, where they're run exactly like businesses. It's just our profit goes to the cause that we're representing. So it gave me an opportunity to stretch some of that innovation at Great Ormond Street. That was a very big part of the role that I did. And that's something that I've then taken forward with Demelza, hence kind of the things that we now do now to make sure that we're pushing continually to bring new things to the table for the general public, to bring new people to Demelza and change the perception of what children's hospices do.
It's funny because the word hospice is related to maybe the older people, but it's not, is it? Obviously, because they're children. But explain a bit about what Demelza actually does do.
Of course. So, as you say, hospice, and the word hospice is often associated with very much that last year of life, and that comes from the adult hospice service, where you tend to be referred in the last year of life. Children's hospice spaces are very different. We're from first diagnosis, or sometimes even before diagnosis, for as long as the child needs us, right up until into transition, into adult services if needed, or bereavement services as the family needs. The difference is that we could have children and young people that we look after for 20 odd years. That's a very different space, but also the services that we offer then have to be different because of that. So we have a huge family support offering where it will be siblings, grandparents, those kind of groups and activities to make sure that the wider family are also catered for, as well as the high pressure kind of clinical side a lot of the children and young people that come to Demelza have very complex conditions, where of course adult services tends to be more oncology, end of life.
Yes.
We're looking at 2 to 3% within Demelza with oncology.
Okay.
A lot of our children have multiple conditions that then require a very high skill set of clinical services needed to make sure that symptom management and step down care when they're coming out of hospital stays, but also upskilling the parents on different procedures that they'll have to do at home when there isn't care packages available for them.
Because it's you go into the homes as well. It's not just
Absolutely.
the hospices. Where are the hospices dotted around?
Yeah, of course. So we have Sittingbourne, we have a hospice in Sittingbourne, we have a hospice in Eltham, and then we have a base in East Sussex.
Yes.
For us, there has been this misconception that we only deliver care where the buildings are.
Yeah.
And that's very different.
No.
And COVID pushed us more into that space, to be fair, as it did many organisations to change the way we worked. We've always looked after a large geographical area and families within that. But I would say even more so now than we ever have before. We have teams that go into some of the hospitals. So we have a team that work with the amazing team at Pembury on the children's services there. And we'll spend days with the team there to make sure that that crossover happens. There's a palliative nurse that's then on site who's be able to support the families that then might transition across to us.
Okay. Like you say, it's run as a business, and obviously businesses need money.
Absolutely.
So fundraising is a massive part of of your plans and your scope moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Trail with a Tail.
Yes.
Because this is a really innovative idea,
Absolutely.
I think. So talk us through what's involved with it.
Yeah, so we've partnered with Wild in Art,
Yeah.
who are a huge organisation who work with multiple charities, not just in the UK, but also worldwide. The idea of the trail is that there'll be sculptures that will be dotted around a geographical area for us, amazingly, Tunbridge Wells.
Yes.
And it's a free art trail for the local community to bring more community into the geographical area.
Yep.
So for us, this is really an opportunity for us to extend our brand into the West Kent area to help break down some of the barriers. We're looking for organisations to sponsor the sculptures.
Yep.
So there's 30 large sculptures.
Yes.
An amazing brand opportunity, both for the companies that are involved, but also to be partnered with, a charitable organisation. But for us, the innovation comes from us making sure that we're reaching more families. We need to make sure that people who need our services understand the services that are available, from a hydropool to a soft play. You don't have to come to us just for that end of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we want to make sure that people who need our services understand that. So this isn't just about fundraising.
No.
This is about making sure we're reaching families as well.
Yeah, and it's really going to raise your brand in the community as well.
Yeah,
which
I
is
hope
really
so.
important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've seen the sculptures; they are very, very impressive, aren't they?
Yeah.
But so businesses can. I know we are going to talk about fundraising. I know it's a really important part. Businesses can support and sponsor those big bunnies.
Yeah. Hairs.
Hairs. Big bunnies. Have you got pricing for that?
Yeah, so the larger sculptures at 7,500.
Yeah.
And that gives an opportunity for a business to have their branding on the sculpture. There's also going to be an app. So there's an app that's going to also open up any incentives that the business want.
Yeah.
So it can be a data capturing opportunity that you're looking at. It could be driving footfall to your local shop or website. It can be anything like that. It could be as simple as a download of a colouring sheet to raise your brand awareness as a business.
Okay.
This is very much a marketing and brand opportunity for the sponsors that are involved. We have already launched our socials on it. We'll be pushing it through our own socials. We are doing multiple events over the period of time as well, including bringing all the sponsors together from a networking perspective and making sure that we're giving opportunity.
Yeah.
We also have smaller sculptures as well that are going into the education sector, so massive shout out to kind of schools, community groups, and they can actually be sponsored by local organisations for £1,000, and then it means that the school get to keep the sculpture at the end. So they get to decorate it as part of their curriculum, and then keep the sculpture at the end.
Because all the kids in the school get to decorate it, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Like fingerprints. We've done 2 for the launch, and one of the tortoises has actually been decorated by some of the children at Demelza and the art therapists that we have there. So a real opportunity for us to engage multiple different stakeholders within the Tunbridge Wells area and wider. We see the footfall from something like this with Wild in Art, that people travel to come.
I was going to say, it brings people into Tunbridge Wells, doesn't it?
Yeah, so there's definitely an uplift in the amount of footfall that comes during the 7 to 8 week period that the trail is live.
Okay.
And it's going to be live next summer. So,
I was going to say, the dates for that?
So July to September.
Okay.
Next summer. The exact dates to be locked down.
Okay.
And they will be dotted around the town. There'll be an app, as I say, that you can kind of follow. Or we're hoping to have some space in a retail area where we'll be selling maps as well, so people can do the good old paper and
This must take so much organisation. There's a lot into it, isn't there?
It is. It's a 2.5 year project linked up for us. But we truly believe in the impact that it's going to drive for the Tunbridge Wells community, the businesses that get on board, and of course for Demelza. I really wanted to ensure that innovation was at the heart of what we do, and so putting something like this on the table and driving it forward and getting the support of our board and our trustees really shows the direction that Demelza is going in.
And also you're looking for local artists to get involved as well.
I mean, as I say, Wild in Art are a big organisation. For me, I wanted to make sure that we were also offering something a little bit different. And I understand that there is a massive street art community in Tunbridge Wells. I would love to have some of the hares and the tortoises kind of with that design and with that culture that is within Tunbridge Wells. Part of the trail. We're going to need volunteers to make sure that they're not kind of being written on or broken. So then we'll need to take them off and get them fixed if that's the case, keeping them clean, making sure that everything's okay. So we're looking for a group of volunteers to come on board as well.
Okay, so they can get in touch with you via the website for that stuff.
Absolutely.
I think volunteers is something that some charities do struggle with, isn't it? Because you really need all those hands on board.
Absolutely. Volunteers is becoming a really tricky area for the first sector. Especially after COVID, more people have either gone back to work or have caring responsibilities that unfortunately mean that they don't have as much free time. It's difficult for you guys to get that people into the doors and help you, and so please everyone get in touch to help with that. Can we just talk a bit about, because I found this really interesting about the name Demelza and Demelza Phillips. Can you give us the history on that? Of course. So Demelza Phillips she worked at Acorns, which is a children's hospice in the Midlands. She was originally from Kent. Her family are Kent based. And unfortunately she died of brain tumour. I think she was 26, around early 20s. Her family visited Acorns when they went up for the funeral, and they were kind of really taken aback by the services that were available for the families and young people. And they realised there was nothing like that in the southeast. So they came back, and Derek Phillips, who's Demelza's dad, was an architect, a Rotarian. He was really a man of the community, started to fundraise to open a children's hospice. So it took 2 years to get to the point where they started to kind of lay bricks. We've been open now 26 years this year. An amazing achievement, amazing legacy. And going through the rebrand, we rebranded last year. It was really interesting to see actually people had heard of Demelza.
It's a name I'm aware of.
But didn't really understand what we did.
No, exactly. It's one of those ones where the name doesn't explain it.
And we made the really brave decision to remove hospice from our branding. Because the research was showing us is that families weren't coming to us because it was such a blocker for them. And that's a tough decision, because actually hospice explains to donors what we do,
Yeah.
but it wasn't reaching our families, and families have to come first. That kind of making sure that they're coming to us when they need us.
Yeah.
For me, as a fundraiser and a marketeer, it was about actually how are we telling our story? How are we changing the misconceptions of children's hospices? I'm very passionate about it. I feel like more people need to understand the joy that is created in an organisation like ours.
Let's get a lot of smiling faces.
Oh, so many. You walk on kind of onto the care floor and you'll have wheelchairs racing towards you. You go into the soft play and they're having a fight with balls. You know, it is a real place of joy and creates so many memories that last a lifetime for our families. And that's really the story that I want to make sure that people understand, that we're not just a sad place. Sad things happen at Demelza, but couple with that are the extraordinary things from at the point of end of life when we might do memory making with the family. And those are the items, the things, the moments that make a huge difference that unfortunately in hospital they don't have the resources to be able to do.
No.
And we're fortunate enough to have a place like Demelza to be able to do that, either in the family's home or in one of our hospices.
Yeah. So where are you based then?
Myself?
Yeah. Do you work from home or do you work in...
A bit of both,
Yeah, it's Sittingbourne, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm in the office in Sittingbourne, but I travel around to all of them. I'm in Westmoreling, so I'm not far from Tunbridge Wells.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in the middle of all of them.
Floating between them all.
Yeah, and we've got teams everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I was going to say, how many people are in the team at Sittingbourne? But that doesn't really matter. It's the teams everywhere, is it?
Yeah, it really is, because we have a community teams that come out and about, and from a fundraising perspective, there'll be some people based at the office, but we'll have fundraisers that cover geographical areas.
Okay.
Care team exactly the same. Our
Yeah.
therapists will go to homes.
Right.
It really is an operation that's not about a place.
No, okay.
It's about the communities that we look after.
Yeah, okay. Right, so the people that we need to get in touch with you are local businesses,
absolutely,
schools, and local artists.
And anyone that wants to volunteer.
Volunteers as well,
yeah,
yes.
Absolutely, but we're in the stage at the moment where we're trying to engage as much as we can with local businesses.
Yeah.
That I can talk to them about the benefits and how we can make sure the sponsorship works best for them. What are their marketing objectives?
You can be a bit bespoke with it, I guess, can't you?
100%. And that is the best thing about working for a regional organisation, is that I can mould things to be able to make sure that we are maximising the client, in this case the businesses and the sponsors, their objectives, and understanding what they want to get out of this and how we can partner with them to maximise that.
Yeah, build those relationships.
Absolutely.
It's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Hayley, you are clearly passionate about what you do. I love talking to you. It's really good. What the benefits for you personally that you get from it, it's those smiling faces, I guess, and the enjoyment you get from helping people.
I mean, I'm fortunate. I meet lots of families and I hear their stories. I work in the marketing team, obviously, so I hear about all the things that go on. I'm hugely passionate about ensuring that those people that we're not reaching, that they can come and use the pool. They don't have to engage with us further than that if they don't want to or need to at this time. I'm just passionate about making sure that people understand it's not just sad.
No.
You know, no. I'm a great believer in the brand and what we're doing. I'm very passionate about it.
Yes.
So I want to try new things, do new things, work with new people, and develop the team and the organisation as much as possible.
Yeah, well, listen, good luck with Trail with the Tail. It's such an innovative idea. I really like it. And if businesses want to get involved, then they can just go to your website and sign up somehow there. Yeah.
I'm on LinkedIn. So find me on LinkedIn.
Okay, Hayley Richardson. Yeah. So thank you, Hayley. I love talking to you, and we'll wrap that up there. So, but thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
And I wish you luck with everything.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.